Hi, Scott.
Hey Simon, how you doing?
Yeah, good man.
How are you? You're not in London, are you? Right now, you're not in the heat wave like we are.
I'm
Don't
in
look
New
like you
York
are.
City, which is having a similar heat wave.
No, yeah, it's very sweaty in North London. Very sweaty.
I bet.
Congratulations on the film.
Thank you.
I'll start with the important journalistic thing, which was I was forbidden by my girlfriend and a few other people not to do my Mrs. Doubtfire impersonation with you because you speak in a Scottish accent in this. So I won't subject you. I won't subject you to that. I thought that would have been quite fun. Anyway, the reason I ask you about that, Mrs. Doubtfire, Robin Williams, is that Robin Williams was one of the first people to do, one of the big kind of actors to do Disney when he did Aladdin and stuff like that, and he seemed to get quite a kick out of it and get all this stuff. Is this a fun playhouse to be in when you do the animated stuff? Because I can imagine it's quite a lot of work, but also it can be quite rewarding, different to sort of live
Yeah,
action stuff.
it's fun. It's exhausting because it's generally obviously it's just you and the director. You don't do your voice work with the other actors, which is strange in some ways, but also it enables the focus to be entirely on you, which actors of course love. So, and you only usually do about a 4 hour session at the most because it's just the toll it takes on your voice and on your just generally your sort of energy because you have to put in. It isn't just your voice that's working. You're doing all the physical movements, all the facial expressions because they're filming it so that they can give that to the animators as reference. Um, it's fun. It's another sort of string to your bow, really, and it's always intense and rewarding.
I guess it's also one of those things I've always listened to, Tom Hanks or other people say about finding the 100 different versions to say the most basic of lines because they want everything. Is that as you say there? Is it a challenging thing to do? Because normally especially in like comedy films or doing one of the action films, you wouldn't get that luxury. So is it a blessing in disguise, or
Well,
is it a bit of a challenge
you're
still?
basically kind of giving the director the tools to build the film with the animators and with the other voice tracks. So what they want from you is very, very specific. I remember when I worked with Brad Bird on Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. That was his first live action film, but he directed us like he was directing animated characters. Like the specificities of his notes were incredibly helpful. Actually, I really loved it. I love Brad anyway; he's a lovely man. But as an animation director, you are forensic about what you need and what you want. So yeah, I'll do maybe 6 reads minimum of a single line, usually more, until the director, like Peggy in this case, who was brilliantly helpful and incredibly enthusiastic all the way through. She'd always laugh, even I said the same joke for the 20th time. She'd always laugh, which was lovely. Um, yeah, it's a case of getting each little machine tooled piece of the puzzle ready to be inserted into the bigger thing.
Yeah, I mean, you've played some amazing characters in your career. Now you kind of reached the pinnacle by playing a black cat, which I guess some people might have said that you were in your career that's what you would do. What was the lure of this one? Because you've done some animated stuff before. So what was the lure of this script and this cat that you get to play so wonderfully in this film?
I just loved the kind of the sheer complexity of the concept about this land of luck, this other dimension where luck was created in the most sort of you know complicated way, and all the details of how things are created. It just felt so complex to really just describe what is ostensibly an office block. That's what the land of luck is. It's like 2 office blocks, and they're doing a mundane job. It's just admin, but it's done in the most mystical, brilliantly realized way. The concept designs that I got given that showed Bob and showed the land of luck, it just felt like, oh, this is great. This is really, really sort of it's going to look beautiful, but it's also underpinned by a really sort of serious kind of story about a kid that's aged out of foster care. I love things that have a real heart like that. Like Up, it starts off with a guy losing his wife. This is about a kid who's never had a family because now she's too old. It's kind of it gives it a real depth and nuance.
Yeah, whose decision was it to have the cat Scottish? Because I know when you did Scotty that you spoke about not only playing Scotty was a challenge, but some of your family, if not most of the other half of your family, is Scottish. So was it
Yeah.
doubly a challenge? So how did you settle on going back into that voice for the cat?
Well, he had to be, because Scotland is the only place in the world where black cats are considered to be lucky. You know, you cross the border into England and they go back to being unlucky again. And everywhere else in the world, they tend to be a bad omen. But Scotland, black cats are lucky. So Bob, being who he is and what he's up to, is necessary that he is of that particular sort of ethnic origin. So it was you know, compulsory really for the story that I do Scottish again.
Do you think you'd ever make a film with Jane Fonda? I know this, I guess it counts. I guess you can count the fact that you've been in the movie with Jane Fonda and Whoopi Goldberg. I mean, I don't suppose they'd want to do I mean, maybe Jane Fonda would love to do a movie with you and Edgar down the line. I don't know, but that's something.
Well, I've met Whoopi. I know Whoopi from, you know, we're Star Trek family, me and Whoopi. So we've
of course you are.
We've met and had a hug before. I met Jane once at CinemaCon just to say hello to, and obviously introduce myself as a fan. You know, she's such a legend as an actor and an activist and just an icon. You know, but no, I'm always delighted to whatever job I get, you know, to get the opportunity to work with people like that. It's a real gift, you know.
Yeah. I did want to ask you, obviously now, I spoke to you at the BAFTAs and you were excited about Mission Impossible. Now we've seen the trailer and fans are really excited for this because the trailer is very specific and it's quite, everything is kind of, you know, the way it's shot and everything is not the big ballistic kind of action movie. There's actually quite a depth to it. Were you excited, the fact, is that reflective of the film? Can you say anything about that, or is it?
Yeah, I
imagine there's action to it, but it's a brilliant trailer. It's really well made trailer.
It's, you know, one of the great things about the trailer as well is that Lorne Balfour, composer, composed music specifically for the trailer. Lorne's incredible, and he's very prolific as well. And I think when McHugh was sort of like putting the trailer together, and Lorne was just sort of, you know, scoring it like he would the movie, it just made it feel all the more sort of bespoke and effective. And yeah, this is, you know, it's called Dead Reckoning Parts 1 and 2, and it is. And I always sort of like puzzle how after we finish a mission movie, how are we going to do another one? And we've done it now again, and then we're about to do it again. And it's kind of it's a testament, I think, to the enduring popularity of those films that people keep coming back. And I also think Tom and McHugh just wouldn't ever sit back and think, okay, we know how to do this now. They constantly challenge themselves. They constantly make things difficult. I mean, Mission Impossible as a parallel to luck is a perfectly good example of, you know, making a movie where you convert every moment of bad luck into good luck. So if something goes wrong, like it did with Tom's ankle in Fallout, you use that time to rewrite the movie, or you edit some stuff together so you can see where you're going. With the pandemic and Mission Impossible, every time there's been a setback because of the difficulties of filming in that situation, they've turned it into something that's done good for us, you know. And I think they're going to be amazing.
And they've raised the bar again, given how much money Top Gun Maverick has made, and it's.
Well, hopefully it will make Paramount open their wallet.
Yes. And so, Simon, always lovely to talk to you. Good luck with the movie, and look forward to Mission 1 and 2.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, man. Cheers.
See ya.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey,